You get a full hour with us here. And so no matter, if you can either get us back on track, or if you get done, you want to keep going, you can go right to 10 after the hour, and everybody else will be okay with that.
I will put you on time and on target to the second, I guarantee you.
I love it because I knew that you would. All right, y'all give it up for my friend Wiz Buckley. Wiz, it's all yours.
Thanks, Jeanette. All right, folks, good morning. Hopefully everybody had here in the States, had a great Thanksgiving. Showed some gratitude for this incredible country, hopefully finding peace on earth and good stuff. Make sure you practice some gratitude today too. If you're just practicing gratitude one day a year, that need a little help there. So, hey, not a registered investment advisor, not a broker dealer. I'm here to train and talk to you. But before you place any trade or put any real capital at risk, make sure you to talk to one of those folks before you fire any trade. Okay, here we go. Solo Amazon. Make sure you silence your electronic nicotine, shut the door, no distractions, because you've never heard what I'm about to tell you about investing. I guarantee you. And if anything, you've heard the exact opposite. Now, I call this stock that we're going to talk about the Death Star, right? Pretty sure just about everybody in this room knows exactly what the Death Star is. I grew up in the 70s and 80s with Star Wars. I have some Star Wars nerds for kids, right? It was a giant space station the size of the moon that was taking over the entire universe. Got attacked a couple times. It ended up being bigger, stronger, and all sorts of stuff like that. That's the stock we're going to talk about this morning. It's taking over anything, and it's the only stock you need to own. Now, real quick, as you're going to find out in a couple minutes, former Navy F-18 fighter pilot. So I'm going to start with a quiz. I'm going to give you a choice. Now, trading is a form of combat, right? Somebody's going to win. Somebody's going to get their rear end handed to them. Which one would you rather be, right? So why wouldn't you use the same methodologies and tools that I used over the skies of Iraq and in the SIBO on Wall Street, essentially, a volatility arbitrage firm? So which fighter aircraft would you rather fly in combat? Let me give you two choices. That's the cockpit of an F-4 Phantom, right? Over 300 switches and dials in that cockpit. Very labor-intensive aircraft. We'd say the pilot would spend a lot of heads down time looking at all of this stuff instead of eyeballs out of the cockpit looking for SAMs, surface-to-air missiles, AAA, anti-aircraft artillery, or enemy MiGs, right? Enemy aircraft. This jet was so complicated and labor-intensive, they actually threw another dude in the back seat to just run the radar, right? So that's your first choice. Or how about this aircraft? Two flat panel displays. You got two iPads. This is the cockpit of the F-35, the Lightning II. We call this the Wonder Woman jet, right? It's invisible to radar. And the pilot actually looks like Darth Vader a little bit. He's got this helmet on that when you look down, you don't see the aircraft, you see through, and all the threats are displayed on the visor. Obviously, in combat, you would want to fly the F-35 versus the Phantom. What's this have to do with trading? Everything, because as I told you, trading's a form of combat, and we're going to win. Now, my promise by the end of the brief, we got to talk about what's going on in the world, an up-to-date intelligence brief, and what's going on. The only stock you need to own, and a good substitute to trade. Now, real quick, well, why should we listen to this guy? How's the smart money doing? How many of you go to Thanksgiving dinner or the holidays here and you talk about oh man, I wish I was in a hedge fund, right? Well, you don't have to be in a hedge fund, right? Look at the returns, man, for the past, what is this, 5 years? 10%, 11%, 10%, -8%, 9%. That's the smart money, folks. Do you want to be in a hedge fund? Here's how I did last year, 2023, and I'm on track to make this look embarrassing. 151%. That's a screenshot from my brokerage account, my personal account. The Dow did, I'll be generous, we'll round up 10%. The NASDAQ did 38%. The S&P did 20%. Top Gun Options members did over and 50% return. How about that? Real quick, folks, my name's Matthew Buckley. If you don't know who I am, my call sign is Wiz. I earned that call sign. My parents liked me. They named me Matthew, but the Navy called me Wiz. I flew the Hornet, graduated from Top Gun, was an adversary pilot deployed for Operation Southern Watch, Noble Eagle, and Enduring Freedom. You don't join the Navy to get rich, folks. You join the Navy to see the world, fly a cool fighter jet. But I was always interested in finance, right? Not going to get, retire rich from the military, right? So I taught myself how to trade stocks and options when I was on active duty, right? Like we talked about, trading is a form of combat. And I applied everything that I was learning as a fighter pilot to my trading, having a strategy, implementing tactics, contingency planning, knowing when to get out of a good or bad thing before it got worse, right? How about managing risk? Flying off the pointy end of an aircraft carrier is dangerous enough, let alone if you're stupid, right? So I applied all of that to my trading, and it worked incredibly well because I popped up on the radar of one of the largest volatility arbitrage firms headquartered right here in the Chicago Board of Trade. Does everybody see that? Those big, let me grab the drawing here. You see these windows? That's everybody, if you watch Batman, you know this famous building. That's the Chicago Board of Trade right there. And that was our trading firm. So when I was in Chicago, I helped build that's our trading floor. I helped build a hedge fund, helped build the retail brokerage options house that many of you traded at. And I was the managing director of strategy for this multi-billion-dollar volatility arbitrage firm. I started the Options News Network, which was the CNBC for options. I jokingly tell people I was Eddie Murphy in Trading Places, little old retail trader going up to the big leagues, right? I got to be honest with you. Check out my book called COVID Crash. Ain't no such, we're the smart money. Does anybody remember what happened as the market started crashing during COVID? Some of the smart money was crying on CNBC. We need to shut the markets down. We need to close markets. I'm like, no. I'm on the other side of all your bullish trades there, smart money, and we pounded the market into the dirt. We made $2.5 million in 2.5 weeks. It was incredible. So I wrote a book about it. Also have a podcast called the Max Afterburner Podcast. It's ranked in the top 2.5% of podcasts in the world. What do we talk about on it? Our foundation. I run the No Fallen Heroes Foundation, psychedelic assisted therapy for veterans. We give grants to veterans, first responders, and their families to heal. So if you're interested in learning about psychedelics, investing in publicly traded psychedelics, with the election of Donald Trump and RFK, maybe, who's pro psychedelics, you need to take a look at these psychedelic stocks, which have exploded as big pharma stocks have come down. All right, that's enough about me, and let's go ahead and get airborne. Now, this is going to shock some of you, or maybe it's not going to shock some of you. This might be common sense to you, but obviously common sense isn't that common. You ready for this? Wall Street's lying to you. Okay, Wiz, duh. What are they lying about? Well, day one of investing, and maybe even today, you're probably going to hear what? You can't put all your eggs in one basket, right? Day one of investing, you've been told this. You have to do what? You have to, say it with me. Yeah, everybody's about to say this. Diversify. Diversification is critical. You must diversify. They froth at the mouth telling you you must diversify. Who's telling you? And why is it a lie? Well, that dude. Ladies and gentlemen, anytime you hear the word broker, whether it's stock, yacht, aircraft, real estate, delete the word broker and insert the word what? Commission. How many of you have seen The Wolf of Wall Street or Boiler Room or the movie Wall Street, right? Bud Fox. All right, boys, let's get the little old ladies in tennis shoes out of the stock we got her in yesterday and into this one today. It's called churn. It's an industry practice, folks. They want you in and out of as many names as possible, right? Churn. Now, before some smart aleck types in the chat box, well, Mr. Smarty Pants Whiz, I trade at Robinhood, or I don't pay a commission. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not paying for something, you're not the customer. You're the product. If you're not paying for something, you know who the customer is? It's Ken Griffin at Citadel or Steve Cohen. It's called payment for order flow. If you sit down at a poker table and look around and go, I wonder who the idiot is, it's probably you. If you're not paying for something, you're not the customer, okay? Now, I'm a fighter pilot. I'm very direct in my communication. I have to be. Diversification is for stupid people. Now, if that offends you, let me get the old guy to clean that up a little bit nicer. Diversification is a protection against ignorance. It makes very little sense for those who know what they're doing. Now, that's a lot of word salad for diversifications for stupid people. The only stock you need to own for the rest of your life is Amazon. Why? It's diversified in and of itself. It is literally the Death Star, right? Recent hedge fund CIO, real wealth is not generated by diversification. It's built through concentration. Now, I'm a political science major from South Jersey, South Philadelphia. I like pictures. Let's go to the pictures, folks. This is called a hockey stick. Straight up. This is net revenue in billions. I've been doing this for over, now I'm going to age myself, 3 decades. I've never seen a company physically print money like Amazon. Look at the annual revenue by segment. Andy Jassy, the current CEO, and Jeff Bezos came up with AWS, Amazon Web Services, in 2013 in a condo. Right now, AWS, folks, is essentially Microsoft. That's one segment of Amazon. Amazon Prime is bigger than Netflix. Amazon Air, as we're going to learn in a couple seconds, is bigger than FedEx and UPS. Did you see Amazon Pharma? Everything is exploding in Amazon, folks, going straight up. It's completely diversified. Now, when you think of the cloud, who do you think of? Apple, Microsoft, Google. They're all in the cloud. Wrong. The largest owner of the cloud infrastructure services market is AWS, Amazon Web Services, folks. Nobody is even close, right? So now let's get political for a little bit. Democrats hate this chart. Why? Well, first of all, delete the word Amazon. If you showed Wiz when he started investing this chart and said, would you buy this stock? I'd look at this chart and go, oh my God, look at the sales. Absolute insanity. I love this company. Then I'd look at free cash flow and I go, oh, well, there's a big delta between sales and free cash flow. And then I'd look at profit. Oh my God, this company doesn't make any money. I would get bearish on this company and then I'd be broke. This is why Democrats hate this company. Why? Because Jeff Bezos has said he doesn't even know what the word dividend means. He's like, if Amazon makes $1 in profit, I'm going to take that dollar and do something with it. I'm going to buy a competitor. I'm going to put a competitor out of business. I'm going to buy a new airplane. I'm going to do something so I make very little profit. It's beautiful, folks. And of course, they want to tax him to death. And he's like, I don't make any profit. JG, with a small account trading Wiz's Amazon trades, netted $8,900 in a week. Kristen, you guys are amazing. This was in our solo Amazon members only thread. I trade a smaller account and have done 22 Amazon trades this year for a $31,000 profit. Christine, month-to-date profits on Amazon, 107 grand. With more to go. Thanks, Wiz, for all your expertise and guidance doing day trades with short calls to protect my Amazon profits, learning from the best. And makes me look like I don't know what I'm doing. Monday through Wednesday, November 15 to 17, in 3 days, I made 90 grand on short calls against 30 contracts utilizing Wiz's guidance. Now, before I sit here and just sing sunshine lollipops about how great just trading one stock is, I'm a fighter pilot. I'm an options instructor. I got to brief you on the risks. What are the risks of just trading one stock? Stocks can go to zero. Lehman Brothers, right? Small mom and pop company, 150-year-old company gone in a couple days. How about Bear Stearns? Jim Cramer knows Bear Stearns. Everybody knows that famous clip, right? At the height of the financial crisis, he looked like Khrushchev at the UN. This bald guy slamming his shoe on the table. You're an idiot. Your money's safe at Bear Stearns at $70. 2 days later, is at zero. Good call, Jim. Pets.com, Enron, a stinky sock puppet in a URL. Enron. They were a middleman of electricity. They don't even know what they did. They didn't even own the building they were in. Now, I could spend the next 35 minutes going through the graveyard of stocks that have gone to zero. I think I've had one or two in my portfolio in 30 years. What's the common thread with stocks that go to zero? They don't own anything. They didn't own the building they were in. They owned a stinky sock. Looks like Lehman Brothers didn't even own the sign on the building, folks. They didn't own anything. Can Amazon, the stock, go to zero? Yeah, technically it can. Can it physically go to zero? It's impossible for it to go to zero. Why? Because it owns things. I did consulting years ago south of Miami International at an Amazon fulfillment center. I've spent a little time on aircraft carriers. The flight deck of an aircraft carrier I thought was the most chaotic place on the planet. It's an Amazon fulfillment center. Humans, robots. I mean, it was the size of an aircraft carrier. So they own things, folks. Full disclosure, I flew for FedEx for 10 months when I got out of the Navy and hated it. Could not stand commuting in Memphis, flying from midnight to 8 in the morning and trying to sleep in a hotel during the day. No, thank you. Why do I bring this up? Because decades later, a buddy of mine stayed at FedEx and put a suit on. He went from pilot to corporate, and he called me one day and he's like, Wiz, hey, what's up? And he's like, hey, who's Jeff Bezos? I'm like, he owns Amazon. Why? He's like, that's weird. A buddy of mine from GE Aircraft Leasing called and said, Jeff Bezos just leased 5 airplanes. And I said, he's going to do it. My buddy said, what's he going to do? I said, he's going to put you out of business. My buddy's like, click. I called him up recently and laughed back at him. Amazon, look at the dates on these headlines. September of 2021. Amazon is now shipping cargo for outside customers in its latest move to compete with UPS and FedEx. 2 months later, Amazon poised to pass UPS and FedEx to become the largest delivery service by early 2022. And this one was a year ago. The biggest delivery business in the US is no longer UPS or FedEx, Amazon, and the gap is growing. Recently, FedEx even begged Amazon for like, can we partner? Can you give us more help? No. Amazon, Fred Smith got a C+, wasn't it, or a C- at Harvard? Fred Smith, former Marine, you're never a former Marine. Fred Smith, Marine, at Harvard, came up with the let's get packages to people in 24 hours. He got a C+, of course, and we laugh at the professor to this day. Now, Amazon, you can get a toothbrush in under an hour delivered to your front door, right? I predicted years ago to my members in Solo Amazon, I said, you're going to get a text. You're going to say, go to your front door. A drone's going to scan your face and drop your prescriptions in your hand. Or you're going to go to the blue truck in your driveway with a pin, add the pin on the side, and the door will open and your box is going to pop out. No driver in that thing because drivers want to unionize, take a leak, and they need to eat, and they need retirement. Gone. And it'll be electric vehicles. Folks, absolutely crushed it. I told my members to get bearish years ago on CVS and Walgreens. They have been destroyed by Amazon. Walgreens closures, CVS laying off employees because Amazon clinics are opening. How about, when was this? September, 3 months ago. CVS breakup, CVS strategic review. I absolutely nailed it. Oh, whoa, why is this guy on our screen? Political risk. We're talking about risk to just trading one name. First year of his presidency in 2016, Donald Trump woke up or didn't go to bed, depends on who you talk to, grabbed his phone and said, Amazon, it's a monopoly. Somebody should break it up. Believe me, nobody knows Amazon's better than me or monopoly's better than me. Believe me, break it up. What happened? The stock went down. Like, oh my God. The president of the United States just publicly said to break us up, we're a monopoly. What happened after that? Nothing. Until year 4, he didn't know it was the last year of his presidency, he grabbed his phone again. Jeff Bezos, Washington Post, unbelievable. Amazon, break it up. What happened that day? The stock went up and never looked back. So I have to brief it though. We're talking about threats. There are political risks. The FTC is looking in, and DOJ and blah, 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 blah. There obviously is political risk to just trading one name. But folks, Amazon is Mercury. If you try and smash Amazon right now, you're going to make 12 little monopolies, folks. If they broke up Amazon, I'd buy each individual company. I just told you Amazon Air is bigger than FedEx and UPS. Amazon Prime is bigger than Netflix. Amazon Pharma is destroying pharmacies. Amazon Web Services is Microsoft. I'd buy every company if they broke it up. So ladies and gentlemen, one more time, I'm going to tell you the only stock you need to own is Amazon. It's diversified. And by the way, it looks like, the government's going after, Google and other people right now. That, it's like in the Navy, we said the law of thermodynamics. If the heat ain't on you, it's on somebody else, right? Let me read this from James Woods. Remember, like a year ago, people were walking into Lululemons and like stealing stuff and just walking out. And a couple employees like in Atlanta like filmed the people and followed them to their car. What did Lululemon do? They fired the employees. Just so everybody understands the game here, Lululemon and these other national brand stores don't care about theft because A, this crap is in fact virtually worthless, and B, they would rather sell it online. No fuss, no muss, no employees. When you see the stores locking up everything behind glass and forcing customers to select from a kiosk, it's a way to avoid excessive minimum wages to human workers and lawsuits from the sales staff loonies, blah, blah, blah. Invest in Amazon, folks. Pretty soon, it'll be the only marketplace left, period. I absolutely love that. Now, I got to be honest with you, I'm bipolar and so am I. I'm going to tell you how I feel as Wiz. I can't stand Jeff Bezos, doesn't pay his employees enough, blah, 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 blah. Then I'm going to put on my $10,000 Armani and quote Gordon Gekko. You want a friend, Wiz? Get a dog. I'm going to teach you how to print money, and we've been printing money on Amazon, the only stock we trade, obviously, in our solo Amazon service. Now, what are the benefits of trading one name? Folks, you trade the same name and you're potentially going to profit no matter what direction Amazon goes, up, down, or sideways. Folks, how do you make money trading stocks? You can make money three ways, right? Buy, hope, and pray. You buy a stock, you hope it goes up. If it doesn't, you start praying. Not me. As an options trader, I can make money if the stock's going up, down, or not moving at all. You stay focused on the news and events that impact Amazon instead of a bunch of stocks and ETFs. You become an expert in Amazon, reducing time spent on other positions. When I moved from Chicago and started Top Gun Options, an orthopedic surgeon, I live in Boca Raton, God's waiting room, came to me and said, Wiz, I heard you're a great trader. I need your help, man. I have office hours, I'm, surgeries, and, I need help trading. All right, man. I met him at a coffee shop and he booted up his laptop. He turned it around, and I'm glad he's a doctor because I passed out and hit my head. This is what his brokerage account looked like. You ready for this? He had 33 positions. And he even tried to explain it. You ready? I'll remember this to the day I die. I'm like, what the hell is this? He's like, okay, well, I think this one's a pot stock. I'm like, did you just say, I think? Okay, this one's like a surgical stock. One of my buddies got me into it. It's down 50%, but when it gets back to where I bought it, I'll get out of it. I'm like, Doc, you're a doc, right? Yeah. That means you should have some basic intelligence. Yeah. What's the math? Where's it? I'm like, you're done. Get rid of everything on this screen and buy Amazon. And I saved probably literally this guy's life, ladies and gentlemen. And the 33 number makes me laugh because I saw this headline. When was this? Last month. Speaking of Jim Cramer, here's a rapid fire update on all 33 portfolio stocks, including our two newest positions. What a stupid investment club this guy has. Folks, in that picture of Chicago, the trading floor, we had a research desk. And by desk, I mean it was long enough to hold 25 analysts. A senior analyst would be responsible for 3 to maybe 5 at most names. They had to know these names like the back of their hand. Eat, sleep, breathe. Junior analyst, 1 or 2 stocks. Do you know how many times I got up, walked over to that research desk and said, hey, did you see what happened with, whatever stock? Yeah. Isn't it your job to know everything about that stuff? So folks, please tell me how professionals who do sit here for 18 hours a day doing this stuff, how you as a retail trader with 5, 10, 15, 33 positions do it. I'm telling folks, I trade Amazon, I trade the S&P 500 and my psychedelic stocks. That's it. And I print money. Simplify your trading cockpit, ladies and gentlemen, with Amazon. Now, if you're sitting here going, I think this guy's talking to me. Look at my brokerage account right now. It's got a lot going on. If you're sitting here going, Wiz, I can't. They bit me in the neck. The diversification vampire. I must diversify. You ready? Here's what I got for you. If you must diversify, you will trade in Solo Amazon, our service, the XLY. A buddy of mine said shrimp are a vehicle for eating cocktail sauce. The XLF is a vehicle for eating Amazon. About a quarter of this ETF is Amazon. Then you get some Tesla in there, some Home Depot, McDonald's, Lowe's, TJX, Booking, blah, Starbucks, Nike, Chipotle. There is your diversification and your big bite of Amazon. Okay, so technically in this service, you could trade Amazon and the XLY if you wanted to. Obviously, Tesla's crushing it. There's some good names on that list as well. Okay, how do we target? We're going to get in my brokerage account in about 1 minute. How do we target Amazon or XLY for max profit? The first thing I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to do it quick. Just like a Marine, we're going to establish a beachhead. We're going to establish a base position. I'm going to hop in my F-35 and go the speed of light out a couple years into the future, and we're going to get long-term bullish with a tactic called synthetic stock. Now, I never went flying in that F-18 without what? An ejection seat. I'm going to show you what a protective put is, because we always have protection on. Step 2, once I establish that base position out into the future, we're going to trade what I call the front months. What's the front month? You're sitting in the front month. November, December, January are the front months. Amazon's going up. We'll trade some bullish spreads, buy some calls. Amazon's going down. Oh no. What do you mean, oh no? I'm going to make money if it goes down. I'm even going to show you how we can make money sideways with a tactic called an iron condor. Amazon's been getting into a couple of channels recently, and when it gets into a channel, I make money. If you're just trading the stock, you ain't making money if Amazon just goes sideways. Okay? So let's go ahead and pull it up right now, and I'm going to show you Amazon. So earnings recently sold off, and now we're catching a bid. But let's go ahead. To all my folks who know nothing about options, let me give you a 1-minute options brief. If you wanted to buy 100 shares of Amazon right now, mid-market, you'd be spending 20, let's just round up, 21 grand. Everybody got 21 grand to buy 100 shares of Amazon today? Well, guess what? One options contract allows you to control 100 shares of Amazon stock for as long as the contract. So like I said, so this is the options calendar all the way at the top. Look what it says all the way here on the right. Jan of 2027. We can be long-term bullish a couple years out into the future, right? So let me click on that, right? So right now, Amazon is trading at 206.17. So down here on the options chain, there's a 200 strike and there's a 210 strike. We'll go, tie goes to the runner, right? In the money a little bit. We'll look at the 200 strike. If I wanted to buy one Jan 27 200 call, it's $5,100. I saved you $16,000. You are long essentially 100 shares of stock with this one options contract. Okay, now if you followed that at all, welcome to being an options trader. I get it. A contract is nothing, it's electronic now, but in the old days, it was just a piece of paper, an options contract. You have the right to control 100 shares of Amazon all the way out to January of 2027. Boom, there's your options brief. Now, buying a call option, bullish. most of you, even if you know little about options, know that buying a put option is what? Bearish. You think something's going to go down. Uh-oh, I heard some bad news about fill in the blank stock. I'm going to go buy some puts, right? Now, if you're buying a put because you think something's going to go down, what's the person on the other side of the trade think? It's not going to go down. You're buying a put. I think something's going to go down. Somebody's going to sell you that put because they don't think it's going to go down. They're the insurance company, right? Hey, we'll take in some premium and insure you. So why am I bringing that up? Because selling a put is bullish. So let's add option. Let's sell a 200 strike put. So buying 100 shares of Amazon, 21,000 bucks. No, thank you. Buying a single Amazon call option at 200, what was it? 5,100 bucks. No, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, now look down here. 2,400 bucks. I just saved you $19,000. Now, on your screen right now, let's go look at the P&L diagram. That's long stock. This is synthetic stock. It's the same exact thing, but you're using options. Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? Now, I use the word synthetic stock. What does that mean? Well, you're not long the shares. You didn't buy 100 shares for 21 grand. You're synthetically long using options. You don't get two things with synthetic stock, and neither of them care or are applicable with Amazon. The first thing you don't get with synthetic stock is a dividend. You don't own the shares, you don't get a dividend. I started this brief by telling you Jeff Bezos doesn't know what the word dividend means. He's like, what a stupid concept. His company makes money, I'm going to make a bigger Death Star. The other thing you don't get with synthetic stock is to vote. You're not a shareholder. Last time I checked, Jeff and his ex-wife probably own a couple more shares than you'll ever own in your life. So if you did own the shares and you got your ballot to do whatever, put it in the recycling bin. Nobody cares about your vote. So those are the only two things. Why would you come out of pocket 21 grand a day to buy Amazon stock instead of 2,400 bucks? Now, many of you should have looked, even though I was talking about this picture over here, the really smart people looked at what? Max potential loss. What's the max potential loss of this trade? 22,000 bucks. Whoa. What do you mean, whoa? If you bought 100 shares of Amazon right now, what's your max potential loss, dude? Well, if the stock goes to zero, it's 22 grand, 21 grand. Duh. That's the same risk in the synthetic stock. But look at the probability right here. Probability for maximum loss. It's Mr. Blutarski's GPA from Animal House, 0.0. And I guarantee you there's about 16 decimal places and a 1, right? The odds of getting eaten by a golden retriever are never 0. There's probably 17 decimal points and a 1. So it's the same risk. But I'm going to help you out with a little something. I use the term what? Protective put. What's a disaster? Like if the stock market imploded 20%, what did they say? Well, the S&P 500 is officially in a bear market. Or if a stock, God forbid, drops 20%, what do they say? Amazon's in a bear market. So I just use 20% below the stock price. What's that? 160. So why don't we buy a 160 put? That's 20% underneath the current stock price. Now, the trade cost just went up a little bit, obviously, because you're buying a protective put. You're buying a little insurance so you can sleep better at night. But what happens to the max potential loss? Now, my call sign's Wiz for another reason, but I'll show you. I just turned into a wizard. Instead of risking 22 grand, you ready for this? 3, 2, 1. $7,600 would be if Amazon between now and Jan of 27 went to zero, that's all you'd lose. Mr. and Mrs. Stock Trader who bought 100 shares for 21 grand would lose 21 grand. You would not. So if you're just a stock person, after my awesome 15-minute options brief here, why are you a stock person? It makes zero sense to me. We're not done with this trade. So, and remember, on the window you're looking at me in, I think at the top there's a camera icon. If you've seen anything you like throughout the day, hit the camera icon. It saves an image to your desktop or your My Pictures or something like that. So this is a synthetic stock with a protective put. But I'm not done. Every week, let's go out to next Friday. What's next Friday? Oh my God, December 6th. Woo. Let's sell a December 6th call option, like the 210 call. Look at what I just did. I lowered my cost basis. So, synthetic stock right here, that protective put we just bought, I can sell next Friday's 210 call. And if Amazon stays below 210 by next Friday, no matter what, I'm bringing in that money. But I keep doing that. I keep selling weekly front month calls against my long-term bullish stock. And what do? I bring in money. I guarantee you within about 3 to 6 months of selling weekly calls against your long-term synthetic stock, the trade's paid for. I love being an options trader, man. When you buy 100 shares of Amazon today, you're paying for it, and it's sitting there. When I do synthetic stock and I sell front month calls against that position, I get paid, baby. All of my synthetic stock positions are paid off in months. And then everything after that is profit. And you're paying it off, folks, just with short calls. What's happening underneath? Amazon's been going up, baby. So you're making money, as I just showed you with some of my solo Amazon members, some of their case studies. Folks, so you're making money on the weekly calls, and then you're making money as Amazon goes up and to the right. This is an incredible tactic. Synthetic stock, protective put, and selling upside calls against it. Isn't this awesome? This is, I love doing this. And I would put this trade on today. We have multiple synthetic stock positions. We do our solo Amazon brief every Monday at 10 a.m. So if you join up today, I'll give you the link here in a couple minutes. If you join up today, folks, you're going to be in a solo Amazon brief Monday morning at 10 a.m. Wiz, I work Monday mornings at 10 a.m. I'm going to show you in a couple minutes. We have an app. You could be sitting in Death by Meeting Monday morning at 10 a.m. and you're going to get an alert on our Top Gun Options app that says, hey, Wiz just fired a new trade. It's like you're sitting in the brief. During the brief, folks, I'll stop and I'll blast the trade out. And I'll show you everything that looks like. So, great question. So let's talk about that really quick. Let's talk about trade management. If Amazon by next Friday is below 210, great. If Amazon starts going above 210, I close that call and enjoy the profit. So let me bring the chart up in the background. When something is on a tear, like right here's a tear, that's a tear. When something's on a when Amazon's on a tear, I don't sell front month weekly calls. I put my boots up on the table, smoke my cigar, and count my money as Amazon's on a tear. So I don't step in front of the stock when it's on a tear. Now, I'm glad you asked that question because guess what? Today, when you sign up for our solo Amazon service, take the Options Weapons School training. I'm going to give you an hour and a half brief on all of this. So whoever asked that question, it says empty name, or I'd call you by your name. Great question. We manage the front month call. If it goes what's called in the money, we can close it, we can roll it up, we can do a bunch of things with it. but you don't want it to expire. We don't want Amazon to go above our short strike and let it expire. Okay. William, I don't know the answer to that because I don't know your margin requirements. For example, in many of my accounts, I have portfolio margining. So my margin requirement is a lot different than other folks. But one of the main reasons we do this protective put is to reduce that margin requirement. So I will tell you that protective put that we bought right there serves two purposes. It's a protective put in case Amazon decides to implode and go to zero, but it also helps with what you just asked. It significantly reduces your margin requirement. So whenever it comes to, hey, what's the margin requirement on this? I tell you, build the trade on your screen and it should show, oh, Barry, okay. Or no, William asked that one and then Barry's the one with no name. Okay, does that help you, William? I just don't know what your margin requirement would be on this account. On E-Trade for me, when I click on it, it'll tell you right here, like, hey, this is how much, it's hitting your margin. But everybody's different. We have over 100 some people in this room. I guarantee 165 people. I guarantee you, everybody in here has different kind of agreements with their brokerage firm. Any other questions on synthetic stock with a protective put? And you sell the short calls against it. This is a fantastic tactic. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the one that I would do today, period. And I would do it today. Why? Because it's Black Friday. We got Cyber Monday coming up. Just about every year, Amazon does what? It says that, holy crap, we destroyed Black Friday and Cyber Monday. We usually see what in the white over here? A Santa Claus rally. I've been doing this for a long, long time. Barring something horrific, which God forbid we might be in World War III by the end of the year. But barring World War III and other horrific stuff, folks, Amazon tends to have a Santa Claus rally, hover in beginning of January, and then February usually becomes pretty volatile for everybody. So yes, today would be the day I would put on this synthetic stock. Okay. Barry, can I use your strategy on Schwab? Yep. If you have at least level 2, level 3 options approval, this is a basic trade. Do you have multiple base positions over time? Absolutely. So for you all, if you joined Monday, I would probably cover that. Well, if you join today, I might just refresh this trade, right? Like, hey, I don't think Amazon's going to be moving too much between now and Monday. That's the base position I would do. So whenever I do one of these briefs and I see, a bunch of new people in there, I'll establish a new one. So I have a bunch of these missiles going down range and I kind of leapfrog them. Like I have ones that are I have Jan 25 fives that are getting ready to expire for 6 figures in profit. So you kind of roll them a little bit. So great, very great question. Loving these questions, man. Okay, so you know what? I promise I'm going to keep Jeanette on time here. So let me, yep, great questions. I'm going to hook you up with that right now. I'm glad people are asking how to join. Folks, Solo Amazon is our newest live trading service here at Topkin Options. It's only $970 a year, or we'll break it down into $97 a month. I don't drink anymore. Thank you, psychedelic assisted therapy. But when I used to drink, I'd say, hey, that's a cheap bottle of wine. So for the price of a cheap bottle of wine, folks, you can get airborne with our services. So either $970 a year. If you do the annual membership, I'll give you the link here in a second. It's $970. You get 2 months free essentially. Or you can just baby step into our Solo Amazon service for $97 a month. Let me go get the link for you. $97 a month, folks. Most people, if they'll try it out for a couple months at $97 and then shoot us an email like, hey man, I want to upgrade to the annual to save some money. Brilliant. Let me give you all that link right there. So topkinoptions.com/solo-amazon. Yep, everybody's asking some good questions and I'll probably answer them as we go here. Print money. there's, yeah, there, let me go back one. Nearly 100 grand. That's an old slide. I think that's a couple weeks ago. We're up to about 136 grand. I need to change this slide. It's $136,000 in profit in our solo Amazon brief. That's an old slide. I'm not going to hit more case studies. Don't need to. Can't attend. I told you 80% of our members work. We send out time sensitive text alerts. There's the app. There's a screenshot from my phone of the app. There's me placing a trade in there, and we can talk back and forth on our app. And then the replay is posted on our member page. I don't know, it takes about 20 to 30 minutes for the replay to render, and I'll post it on the replay page. So people watch it at, at work, at lunch, or when the kids go to bed at night. So that's when the replay is posted. I'm so geeked. Been a subscriber for almost 3 years now, and this is the first time I've been able to attend live. I only know you from the replays. I love it. Today, folks, I'm going to hook you up, man. It's Black Friday. I'm going to give you access to our proprietary manuals. These are your flight manuals, man. Primary, intermediate, advanced. Now, if you're a political science major from South Jersey like me, let me help you with the math. It's $97 a month. If I went to his website and bought these manuals right now, it's $197 a month. Say it with me. You just made $100. These are yours, man. I'm throwing this in here. These are $197 usually, folks. People buy these all the time. It's part of Solo Amazon. For $97, you're getting the damn manuals and access to our live trade brief. Every Monday, 10 a.m., you get the app. You get email alerts too. I'm redundant. You get an instant message on your app, and then I'll also send out an email too for the folks that are, I'm old and stodgy. And you get access to your own thread in the Ready Room. I can show you that in a second. Not going to do any more case studies. $97 a month, folks. If it's your last $97 a month, don't do it. Now I feel like the Flex Seal tape, but wait, there's more. There is. You have got to take the upgrade. If you were buying something on Amazon today, before you checked out, they'd say, hey, do you want to do this? You want to do this. Options Weapon School. Whoever just asked, like, hey, I'm kind of new to options, or I know nothing about options. This is what you have to do. It's 6 training sessions, folks, from, hey, this is the market, this is investing, these are calls, these are puts. We take a building block approach to options training. This is worth thousands of dollars. I've seen below average places charge a ton of money for this type of stuff. I breathe it. It's awesome. And it's not that. It's $297, folks. Take the Options Weapon School training. I guarantee you need it. This guy was a Blue Angel, call sign Utah, up 20 in 20 trading. He didn't know anything about it. He's a FedEx captain, did a layover down here. He's like, dude, I see all your Top Gun option stuff. Help me. 15 grand on a $40,000 account in 20 trading days. If Utah can do it, you can do it too. Solo Amazon, folks, our newest live trading service. Everything else I do, psychedelics and volatility and the S&P 500, those briefs are $167 a month. Since we're only trading Amazon, this one can be a little less expensive. $970 a year or only $970 a month. Now, if you learned nothing from this brief, I failed miserably, but hopefully it resonated with you a little bit too. After the last great speaker goes today, was I talking to you? Go look at your brokerage account. Are you flying around with 33 positions in the trading of combat and getting your rear end handed to you? Simplify your trading cockpit, folks. Amazon or XLY. I guarantee you it will help you put a smile on your face. Simplify your trading cockpit. All right. I got 2 minutes to get Jeanette on. I got 2 minutes of questions. I'm virtually a newbie when it comes to investing in the stock market. This sounds amazing. Do you have training for ignoramuses like me? Adrian, you're looking at the Village Idiot. I guarantee you I'm robbing a village somewhere of an idiot. I built Top Gun options for me. If I had this when I was learning, here's how old I am. I actually had to go to the base library. This was before Al Gore invented the internet, man. Like the early 90s, I'm reading books on options. There wasn't no Top Gun option. So Adrian, all of this is built for somebody like you. That Options Weapon School session 1, this is the market. These are calls. These are puts. And we take a nice building block approach in our training. What account size do I need? Cash account. Folks, we got people trading with a $5,000 account, $10,000 account. We have a couple billionaires who have people manage their money, but they also I can't tell you what size account you need, but you know, to open a brokerage account, you need $1,000. I think to trade on margin, $2,000. But we have folks with smaller accounts, folks, you know, 5, 10, you know, grand or something like that. You just trade smaller contract sizes, right? You just trade what your risk management and everything on your end. You know, you're the tick. You're the trader in command. I'm the PIC, the pilot in command of my portfolio. You got to be the tick, the trader in command of your portfolio. So I'll show you all the trades that I do in the training. My live trade briefs are one contract, and then you sit there on the other side of your computer in your bunny slippers going, you know what, I'll do 5 contracts or whatever like that, okay? Any questions, concerns? Oh, by the ways, real quick, this is our solo Amazon. This is what the member area looks like. This is, you can download your manuals on here. This is where you join the live trade brief every Monday at 10, and then here's the previous briefs, right? All the previous trades, the replays at the top of the page. There's a screenshot of the trades that we talked about. We put on a bullish double vertical for Amazon in December. That is printing money right now. So folks, we're having an absolute blast in our solo Amazon. If you didn't learn anything today, I failed, but I guarantee you probably learned something. $97 a month or $970 a year. One more time, I'll throw that link in the chat box. And with that, on time, on target, right through the bullseye, I'm going to turn it back over to Jeanette. Thanks for having me, Jeanette. I appreciate it.
So his link is tradethirsty.com/solo.